Hey. Once again, we're here to continue this long ass fucking game. Oh boy. Yes. Alright, so today we're continuing from episode 3. I have no idea how long this is. I think Hero said it was pretty long, so not sure if I'm going for the halfway point and stopping or if I'm going to try to go for the whole thing. But we'll see. We shall see. I think the first thing is always going to be voiced by something, so let's go wait for that.
Glancing over my records of the late last century, I am faced by the events of a certain bitter winter. A murder in a carriage as it sped through dense London fog in the dead of night. Though the victim and the perpetrator were the only ones inside, there were multiple witnesses to the crime itself.
For a carriage?
However, none could have imagined at the time that such a seemingly obvious case as this,
Well, I guess it would be outside
would
witnesses,
end
but
in such a horrendous manner.
that sounds
My
kind of
friend,
ridiculous at that point.
Mr. Herlock Sholmes once said of the incident, "I believe that perhaps that case was indeed the prelude.
A prelude, huh?
The beginning of a long concerto that impressive Japanese student and I were to play together."
Ooh, there's like a little there's a whole animation too. Yay. Another one, I mean.
Amazing. Is this really just a railway station?
Railway station or not, I've never seen such an enormous building before.
And look at all the steam locomotives. This country is incredible.
I think they've talked before in cutscenes, but I'm actually not used to hearing them talking this much, so this is like the first I'm hearing like their full accents for the voice acting. Very interesting English choices.
I feel like I'm dreaming.
So this is the capital of Great Britain.
So, where to?
Oh, hello.
Climb aboard. I'll take you wherever you want to go.
This guy's so green.
In that case, the Supreme
This is
Court
the
will
greenest
not
man
keep
ever.
in mind.
My pleasure.
Oh yeah, let me know if my mic is good or bad because apparently I can't tell anymore
Abroad, eh?
Yes.
in calls, especially too.
Thought so. Well then, I hope you enjoy your stay. And welcome to the centre of the world. Great Britain's mighty capital, London.
Center of the world, huh? That's a pretty bold statement. It's probably right though, technically. I guess if you meant for like the general layout of maps that they usually did before. Or the general layout that I guess we're used to with the Americas on the left and Australia them on the right. Yeah, I guess it's more or less the center of the map, huh? Anyways, let's get back to this. 18th of February, 9:21 a.m. British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Oh, we're starting off with Susato. Oh, okay. What an incredible place! It's so imposing. It's almost suffocating. This place is breathtaking. It looks like a fortress. There are some stone buildings like this in Japan now, of course. But they've only been built in the few short decades since we opened our borders to the outside world. An authentic example like this has quite a different impact, wouldn't you agree? A far cry from the wood and paper most of our buildings are constructed from. It's certainly unfamiliar. But I think there's more to the differences than just construction materials. What is this place again? This is the Lord Chief Justice's office, Naruhodo-san, in the Supreme Court of Great Britain. The Lord Chief Justice. We had instructed to report here at this time. If the circumstances were different, we were supposed to let the Lord Chief Justice know that we had arrived from Japan. But Kazuma can't. No. So instead, we are here in a different capacity. As envoys to report the news of Kazuma-sama's death. Yes. And having delivered his or her message... an envoy's duty is done. So, we'd have to return to Japan. If we want to remain here in Great Britain, I have to take Kazuma's place as the law student selected for the study tour. Yes, which means you need the requisite qualifications as a lawyer. Which is what I've been studying for. Here in Great Britain, it is the Lord Chief Justice who appoints lawyers. So that's the second reason why we're here. To have you officially recognized as a lawyer. It's the only way that we'll be able to remain here in London. I hope I'm up to scratch. Good morning. Sorry for keeping you. Okay, what does this guy look like? Oh, he kind of looks like Damon Gant to like an extent. Not like full on, but he kind of reminds me of Damon Gant from that awkward transition case between Ace Attorney 1 and 2. Kind of looks like that guy. Oh. Oh man, what kind of voice should I give this guy? Man. He's kind of stern, so... I trust you aren't too exhausted after your long voyage from Japan? It seems I'm 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 47 seconds late. My apologies. Oh, no, don't mention it. We're never happier than when we're standing around with nothing much to do after all. What the fuck kind of sentence is that, Renosuke? How fortunate. So, introductions. I am Mayo Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of the British Empire. And I feel like a little mouse under an elephant's foot. Come on, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't be a mouse. Oh, It's an honor to meet you, Lord Chief Justice Strongheart. I'm Renosuke Naruhodo from the Empire of Japan. Well, Mr. Naruhodo. Like, sometimes I can't say that. It's not say Naruhodo without doing a weird, kind of weird wording it. Welcome to London, the capital of our glorious British Empire. Yes. Thank you. Oh, okay. Let me just go talk to him a bit. Let's ask him about London. So, what are your impressions of our capital so far? How do you like London? Oh, well, help. I've been so nervous ever since I got here that I can't remember a single thing about the city. It's simply splendid, isn't it, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh? We had a wonderful view of some London streets from the carriage on the way here from the station. Everything is so impressive and grand. I must say I'm almost lost for words. I'm glad to hear you like it. The city boasts tramways, piped water and gas, even cables supplying electricity. We spearhead every revolutionary new technology in the world. Every visitor to London is astounded. I'm not really giving him as much of a British accent as I probably should, huh? Oh yes, astounded is the word. Thanks for saving me back. Thanks for saving me back there, Susato-san. And everyone seems so jolly and full of vigor. Yes. There's much excitement about the upcoming great exhibition we will be hosting here in London. Great exhibition? Cultural and technological achievements from around the globe are to be exhibited here in our great city. It will be the greatest spectacle of its kind in history, and will make Paris's World Fair look like a toy shop. Nah, I kind of delivered that kind of wrong.
Gosh, I can hardly imagine how magnificent it's going to be.
Great Britain's capital city is nothing but magnificent. London is the center of the modern world. Even if you do say so yourself. The sun will never set on our great empire. Perhaps it is fate that in these progressive times we welcome visitors from the land of the rising sun.
Law student.
Lord Chief Justice. I think you were expecting a student of law for this study tour, weren't you? Absolutely. I'm Mr. Kazuma Asogi, if my memory serves. That's right. The British government has already been telegraphed a full report on the situation. I understand the young man lost his life aboard the steamship bound for our shores. That's amazing. The news reached him before we even arrived. My country naturally extends its deepest condolences to yours. Oh, thank you. And you honored his disappointment specifically to inform me of the news?
Yes. We are here in the capacity of envoys from Japan to report the sad news in person.
They tell me you Japanese are people of protocol and courtesy, and I see that it's true. And it is with some regret that I must inform you that the death of the young lawyer means this study tour arrangement can no longer proceed.
If you would just hear us out, Lord Strongheart.
What do you have to say, madam?
It's about the study tour. Mr. Naruhodo here would like to make a proposal.
Would he now? Well, Mr. Naruhodo, this is it then. The moment of truth. Oh, and there we go. The thing is, Lord Justice, Lord Strongheart, I was wondering if perhaps you would consider allowing the study tour to go ahead, you know? Don't misunderstand me. Britain would ideally like to see the tour go ahead. But without a lawyer from your country, there's nothing to be done. Well, in that case, what if there was someone else? Another lawyer from Japan, I mean. Is there something I don't know? Only a single lawyer was invited to Great Britain from your country. And that was Mr. Asogi. At least, that is what I've been led to understand. Well, the thing is, this really isn't going well at all. Yeah, no shit. I just can't seem to find the right words to say to this man. Oh wait, that had an explanation. I probably should have delivered that differently.
Mr. Naruhodo.
I could ruin things here if I'm not careful. What am I going to say? If there was someone else here from Japan who could be described as a lawyer, it's... it's me. I can do it! Is that so? I mean, I don't actually have any qualifications as such, but... No qualifications, you say? And yet you still claim to be a lawyer? I have acted as a lawyer in court before. Only once, as it happens. And I had Cosma to help me, and I was the one accused. But that's glossing over the details. I've been spending every spare moment on the journey here to Great Britain studying.
I've learned all about British law and court proceedings while I was on board the SS Buria.
The voyage from Japan has some 50 days, I believe. Not what you might call a full education. To become a qualified lawyer here in Britain, not only do you need a university degree in law, you must also complete several years of training.
I realize it's far too short a period of time, but I just can't go back to Japan. Kazuma, Mr. Asogi's journey had only just begun. Coming here on this study tour was all he thought about. I have to carry on and do everything he planned to do. I know it must sound like I have an overly inflated opinion of myself, but I would do anything to prove that I have what it takes. Any test you care to set me? Just one chance. That's all I'm asking for. Please!
31 seconds.
Sorry?
Your opening statement there, Mr. Naruhodo. It was 31 seconds long. Not too brief, not too protracted. A perfectly judged appeal, I would say. Which is a skill that would stand you in good stead as a lawyer.
Oh, thanks. Oh, he even does like a snap, like Bon Karma. I wonder if he... Maybe I'll see more of that.
So, you're willing to put those words to trial, are you? Well, I'm all for entertainment. But let me ask you one thing first, sir.
Yes?
You say you intend to do everything Mr. Asogi planned to do. Are you firmly set on that path?
Well, yes, that's my intention.
I see.
Am I imagining things? Or does expression just alter a fraction there? I'll alter a fraction there all of a sudden.
Very well. You have your wish. I'll give you a chance. A test to become a specially certified lawyer. Whether you pass or fail is entirely down to you.
Really?
Oh.
So, what form will the test take exactly?
Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, what do you consider the role of a lawyer to be?
Well, defending people, of course.
Well said. So, let's have you defend someone.
Huh?
Your timing is perfect, in fact. There's an apt trial about to begin later today. No advocate has been appointed for the defense as yet, so this will be welcome news.
Today? Straight away?
If you manage to secure a verdict of not guilty, you'll have passed my test. What could be simpler?
How do I get myself into these situations? Well, could I ask what sort of trial it is, Lord Strongheart?
Yes. Good question. I remember. It's a murder trial.
Because of course it is. A murder?
An extremely simple case, I understand. You really can't lose.
That's easy to say.
But I should mention, just in case, if the defendant is found guilty, he will of course be sentenced to capital punishment.
Capital punishment? He'll be put to death?
Here in Great Britain, murderers are sent to the gallows without exception.
Presumably, you read that much in your short, sea-based introduction to British law. We can't possibly agree to such a test. We would be toying with a man's life. I am the Lord Chief Justice, and I've decided it's acceptable. But you can't do that, can you? There's no need to overcomplicate this. All you have to do is ensure that you don't lose. So, the defendant may live or die depending on how well I perform in court. If I lose, he'll be hanged. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. You've come to me claiming to be a lawyer. If you want me to take you seriously, you need to prove you're willing to do a lawyer's job. And you say you intend to see through the will of your compatriot, Mr. Asogi? I would like to understand just how far you're willing to go in order to make that happen. He's testing my resolve. What's the matter? You've fallen silent? I'm sorry, but time is pressing. The trial will begin shortly. I need an answer from you now. What's it to be? What do I say? Do I agree to this absurd test? Yeah, we kinda have to. Alright then. If I have to give you a decision now, I can't do it! I can't get the words out. 15 seconds. Your decision making needs work if you want to be a lawyer. That was too slow. So, it's as I suspected, is it? Sorry? You have noble intentions, but lack the resolve to see them through. The test is cancelled. Thank you for stopping by. Go and acquire your ticket for passage back to the east tomorrow. This conversation's over. Yes, Lord Strongheart. Thank you for offering me a chance. Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry, Mrs. Sato. But what could I do? It's alright. I understand. You do? It's not an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances. But resolve has absolutely nothing to do with it. What are you trying to say, madam? I think what Mr. Sato means is that no matter how badly I'd like to be recognized as a lawyer and stay here in Great Britain, to risk another man's life by threatening his one and only chance at a trial so trivially would be utterly unforgivable, and I feel exactly the same way. I'm sure the defendant won't see this trial as a test, as some kind of experiment. A lawyer may fight for his clients in court after day, but for each one of those clients, the particular day they stand in the dock may be the only chance they have to fight to prove their innocence. No, I was wrong. I'm not qualified to do that job yet. I'm sorry for wasting your precious time, Lord Chief Justice. Wait, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, was there something else? It's approximately 20 minutes by carriage to the Old Bailey from here. If you leave immediately, you should still be there in time. But I just said that. I was quite serious in what I told you. The defendant in this case has literally no one to advocate for them. What? At this point, he can't hope to find someone to represent him. the trial will begin without a defense. And if that happens, there's only one possible outcome. You will receive the most severe sentence the judge can pass down. But that's awful. But that is the truth. Why does it have to be like this? Please don't expect an answer to every question. The cold, hard truth of the matter is that there is only one person now with a chance to save this man from a very miserable end. And that is you. I'm really his only hope? So, what do you say now, madam? Me? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? You said it wasn't an easy decision to choose whether to defend a man in these circumstances, and I agree. But in my estimation, it is purely and simply a matter of resolve. Oh. Our time is up here. I have a meeting to attend. I must leave in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So, venture into our great city and enjoy yourselves. He's gone. The Old Bailey. If we're going to do this, Mr. Naruhodo, we must leave at once. Okay. I guess we're leaving at once. Hey, 36 minutes though, just to get to like the first part of the case already? That's pretty quick. I was honestly expecting like a whole introduction sequence of being in London and like a whole investigation section. But wow, this game is really going off the usual Ace Attorney script. Oh, thank goodness. We're in time. There's still 15 minutes until the trial begins. I never knew a horse-drawn carriage could go so fast. I thought my teeth were going to rattle loose. Did you hear what I said to the driver when we climbed aboard? Get us to our destination in 5 minutes, driver. And there's a guinea in it for you. It's one of my favorite lines from the Herlock Sholmes stories, and it worked quite perfectly. I'm not sure why you're so pleased. I thought we were going to die. And we had to pay gold for the privilege. Well, at least we arrived here before the trial started. Yes, I suppose there is that. Anyway, I don't understand it. The court clerk said the defendant should be here. But there's no sign of him at all. I like how they just have a scale in this, like, lobby for some reason. And then, like, that one guard doesn't have a mustache and the other one does. So, this is the Old Bailey. Even this room for defendants to wait in is grand. For defendants to wait in is grand. Never. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm feeling tense, that's all. This place gives me the same sense of foreboding that I remember from the Supreme Court in Japan. An oppressive air. Almost as if the building itself is going to crush whoever is about to be sentenced. It feels like only yesterday that I was the one who about to be crushed. Yes. Whoever the man you're to defend is, I imagine he's feeling very alone at this moment. Top of the morning to you, madam, sir. Oh, they're Irish? Okay. Top of the morning to you, madam. Sir? Sir? Who the fuck? What are you doing? Following me here? Things are fair desperate, are they? Are they? Sorry? Would you look at those expressionless faces from the east, are yous? We're from Japan, yes? Ah, Japan is it? Right, say no more. So, how much do you need? No, we're just here because... No need to explain, fella. I've been there myself, so I have. No place to go, nothing to eat, bury a penny to your name, and all while in a strange faraway land. Well, actually, we haven't found a place to stay yet, no. 'Tis grand, 'tis grand. Let me start by giving you 1,000 guineas. Say nothing now. Huh? 1,000 guineas? Please, Mr. Sato, you don't have to shout. But 1,000 guineas is enough to build an entire mansion in the most prestigious area of Tokyo. What? Ooh, even has a coin flip animation. 'Tis nothing to me at all. I like to ensure I have sufficient funds to weather a rainy day, you see. I have enough wealth to buy the city of London 2 or 3 times over. Could that much rain even fall in one day? Well, even so, we couldn't possibly accept a large sum of money. Arg! That hit me in the eye! Don't get me wrong, fella. I'm not giving it to you with no strings attached. I'll be wanting you to do something for me. Oh? To be honest, 'tis a little embarrassing. The trial is about to begin, you see. It's from me good self here. I'll be in the dock. So now, what I want you to do is come along with me and stand there beside me. Officially, you'll be my lawyer, but that's just a little detail now. Oh, well, the thing is, don't worry about a thing. All you have to do is stand up there next to me, nothing more. Otherwise, you see, the trial's going to start without me having any kind of representation at all. So it was true. The Lord Chief Justice wasn't just making it all up. Also, I hope I'm not being offensive with with this accent I'm trying to use for his voice. I'm terribly sorry to have to ask, but does that mean you're the defendant in this trial? Bloodstone blazes! Do you not know who I am? Me, one of London's biggest names? No, sorry. We've only just arrived in the city, you see. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna have to answer something real quick. Okay, sorry, I'm just answering something real quick. No, oh yeah, we've only arrived in the city. I see. I suppose it isn't altogether impossible. Well, just next to Hyde Park, there in the center of London is another beautiful park. Sorry? Park? What? This is called McGilded Park, full of blossoming flowers in the spring and singing birds and whatnot. I donated it to the city, so I did. An entire park? In central London? Ugh, I didn't like how my voice went right there. A city of smiles. That's my vision for London. There's nothing Magnus McGilded wouldn't do for the city and its quiet old people. That's amazing. I mean, really extraordinary. Ah, but now they've got the gall to say I'm a good-for-nothing criminal. Me, Magnus McGilded. What is the matter with the people with the London police, I ask you? Hey. Alright, don't pass out. Mr. Naruhodo. Perhaps now would be a good time to introduce ourselves. while the gentleman catches his breath? Good idea. Hey. Mr. McGilded, the thing is, we're actually here in London to study British law. We're law students. On a study tour from Japan, you see. Hey. So, if you don't have a lawyer for the trial yet, and you'd be happy to put yourself in our hands, we'll do our best. What was I after saying, you daft idiot? I've given you 1,000 guineas to sit up there next to me, haven't I? Well, yes, but I wasn't really offering to just stand up there next to you. Oh, I think I see what's going on here. Sorry? I know what you're thinking. This chancer of a fella claims to have more money than the Queen. But if that's true, why the blazes can't he hire the finest lawyer in all of England? Because he did it. That's the only explanation. Well? Well. No, not really, no. Not at all, although it is a little strange, to be honest. Why you don't have a lawyer, I mean. It would be the fault of the Reaper. Sorry? Did he just say Reaper? Aye, the Grim Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Beric von Zeeks. He's the prosecutor. Prosecutor? The prosecutor is the Grim Reaper? When Von Zeeks stands for prosecution, they'll call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And to this day, in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. What? So it reached a desperate situation, where there's no one willing to stand in defense against the fellow at all. You could say he's a living legend of the Old Bailey. Ugh. Goodness. Lord Beric von Zeeks? He must be an exceptionally talented prosecutor then. Talented isn't the word you're looking for, ma'am. It's cursed. Cursed? What on earth? Oh. The defendant is summoned, and his counsel. Please make your way into the courtroom. The trial's about to begin. His counsel? Oh, that would be me. Oh, 'tis time. Well then, fella, don't let me down. But I don't know anything about the case. You haven't told me what happened, and until you showed your face here, I made up my mind, so I had. Sorry? I decided I had to defend myself in there. How would that have worked? Wait, Renosuke, what are you Renosuke, you defended yourself technically. What you mean, boy? But then you made an appearance. A student of law. Wouldn't you know? 'Tis no accident. God, sometimes I can do the accent, and sometimes I can't go into it very at all. 'Tis no accident. I can assure you of that. 'Tis fate. So don't get cold feet now, please. Cold feet now, please. Ugh. Couldn't say that one in the accent really well. I literally know nothing about the case or about this man who stands accused. In fact, the only thing I do know is that I can't just turn my back on him. Mr. Naruhodo. The man has no one. He'll have to stand alone in that courtroom armed with nothing to defend himself. Yes, something that Cosmo would never have allowed to happen. Counsel for the defense, what are you doing? If you're late for the start of the trial, you lose your right on the stand. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. One of those. It's happening then. My first trial in a British court. I hope you're watching over me, Cosma. Because I have no idea how I'm going to manage this. Mood. Honestly, you know what? Yeah, agreed. I don't know what you're gonna fucking do, dude. You're so doomed. Whoa, I got like some weird frame lag on that actually. 18th of February, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh wow, there's like 6 people. What is that? The witness? What am I looking at? So, this is the highest court in Great Britain, the Old Bailey. The centuries of history in this place is palpable, isn't it? It's so different to the Supreme Court in Japan. It feels both imposing and serene at the same time. The atmosphere almost makes words redundant. Whatever the country, determining a person's guilt or innocence is always a solemn affair. May I say something, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes. What? Oh god, no. Dude, you gotta calm down. Your eyes look ready to pop out of your head again. I know, but I just can't help it. Oh my god, he looks like a fucking vampire. And he looks even more like Santa Claus than normal. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here today to determine the guilt or innocence of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Man, I don't know if I should be adding British accents to these or not. But I'm really not good at British. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is fully prepared. That must be the Reaper of the Bailey. He really does look fully prepared to dispatch his next poor victim to the underworld. Counsel for the defense, you appear to be Eastern. Do you speak English? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Sorry. But he asked if the defense was ready. And I couldn't be further from ready if I tried. Ah, man, You see, right? Yeah, maybe kind of like my Edgeworth voice. Those eyes please me, Nipponese. No, that's way too deep. They should shroud your fear, no doubt, your trepidation. They run wild, clinging to some phantom notion of courage. No, I'm still getting kind of the other guy. You see, right? The quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb. Ugh, a cold shiver just ran down my spine all the way to the tips of my toes. Now, Mr. Gilded. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. You stand accused of murder, a capital offense. You could be sent to the gallows if found guilty. Are you quite sure you wish to entrust your defense to this, foreigner? As I've always said, my lord, it is a grand thing to give opportunities to the young. Even if the fellow is a student from some little island off in the Far East. Is it not a British way to ignore the dangers to yourself and give these less fortunate a fair chance? I like to think that acts of chivalry did the great British Empire proud. Listen to Mr. McGilded. What a fine gentleman Larsen had as him. Did you hear that he donated £5,000 to the government the other day? Mother, please, can we go and play in the park? It seems as though everyone in the public gallery is firmly behind Mr. McGilded. That's definitely welcome news, and he certainly has a way with words. I'm surprised he couldn't convince anyone to defend him. Eloquently put, Mr. Gilded. Mr. McGilded. and most laudable sentiments. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm sure I need hardly remind you that you 6 members of the public have been selected for your impartiality. Partiality. There we go. Are you ready to proceed? Oh god, there's 6 new people I have to vote. Oh, okay. Yes, my lord. If the task is to send rotters to the gallows where they belong, I'm more than ready.
At the manor, his lordship always says we should dispose of rubbish promptly. Naturally, I agree.
Ha! Any criminals here will soon be wishing they never set eyes on me. I'm gonna make 2 of them probably sound the same. Or fairly chill.
Oh, don't mind me, dears. I'll just be getting on with my knitting. Must finish these mitts for my grandchildren. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, these people are...
The jury, yes. That's something we don't have in Japan yet. Oh, they're the jury. Right, okay. Interesting.
That's right. I've only ever read about it. And you know what? I think in the future we're only going to have one entire case in the entire series that uses the juror system. Isn't that interesting? But here in Great Britain, the court's final verdict depends on the opinions of these 6 jurors. The judge passes sentence according to the law, but the jurors determine guilt based on common sense. So the defendant is ultimately judged from 2 completely different points of view.
But how exactly do the jurors give their verdict?
That I don't know, but I'm sure it will become clear as the trial progresses.
Yes.
Prosecutor Van Zieks, my lord. It's been a number of years since we've seen you here in the courtroom. I thought you'd renounced your fame. I'm known as the Reaper of the Bailey, my lord. Infamy rather than fame, I would say. But yes, 5 years have passed since I last spread my wings in this capacity. So, what brings you back? Is there some change of circumstance of which the court should be aware?
I'm not sure if I'm really giving him like an accent that I really enjoy. Huh? Well, since he looks like a vampire, how about I go with like a very I leave that to your imagination, my lord. Maybe, I don't know. We'll play around with him a little bit. So, the Reaper has been out of action for 5 years. Why did you have to choose today of all days to make a comeback?
Don't lose heart, Mr. Naruhodo.
As you wish, sir. The court nevertheless welcomes your return. Now then, opening statements, I think. A summary of the case, if you please.
Certainly, my lord. As your lordship is aware, this is a case of overwhelming simplicity. No, I'm going Russian. Dang it. We must be the only ones in here who aren't aware. Maybe. No, let's just do whatever we can. Maybe Bela Lugosi? What is Bela?
He would not be. My son would not be a chocolatier.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay.
The incident took place in the late evening, 3 days past. The hour was about
some minutes after 10. No, that's still not it. The victim was a maker of building bricks known in the community as Thrice-Fired Mason. Sorry? Thrice?
He was a very accomplished craftsman. The bricks he fired were said to be almost indestructible.
Oh, wow, he's just... Wow, okay.
The victim's corpse was discovered in an omnibus in an omnibus in service of the streets of London at the time. A dagger that had been thrust into the victim's abdomen is believed to be the ultimate cause of death. Here is the autopsy report from the investigating medical officer of Scotland Yard. Thank you, Counsel. I shall accept that and the photograph as evidence.
Okay, so we got an autopsy report. Nice. Photograph. Okay.
And one further item of evidence. The prosecution wishes to submit these as well. And these are? Good Lord! Is that blood, Counsel? Yes, my lord. Seized by policemen who arrived at the scene. These gore-soaked gloves were taken from the hands of the accused when he was arrested.
What? Mr. McGilded's gloves had blood on them?
Yes, I will accept these as evidence as well.
The defendant's leather gloves. Okay, so they're... He wore them at the time of the incident, and there's a blood stain on the right glove. How did I get into this? I backed into a corner before I even started.
Continuing. According to the driver of the omnibus, there were only 2 passengers traveling inside his vehicle at the time.
Only 2?
Obviously. One of those passengers was a deceased brickmaker, Mr. Mason. The other was the accused, Magnus McGilded.
I like how we just have a guy with a knife in the jury. Does not make me feel confident about their innocence.
Well...
Oh, no, wait, that's too too young.
Well, rather damning circumstances, to say the least. Defendant, what say you?
Well, of course, I have no recollection of such a thing. Mr. McGilded! To be sure, I rode the omnibus that evening. But whenever I'm in a carriage, I'm taken with a fierce tiredness, and I always succumb to it.
Are you claiming to have been asleep?
There's the notion of the carriage, my lord. My lord. And so it is, and when I opened my eyes again, 'twas a desperate sign before me. The body of a man I'd never laid eyes on before me in my life. Now I ask yous. Now I ask yous. Now I ask yous. Yous. I ask yous. Now I ask yous. What good-hearted soul would rush to help a fellow bleeding from his stomach? I wasn't about to start worrying about me gloves now, was I? I reached out to give the man a hand. Am I doing a Scottish accent, actually? I'm really bad at knowing it. So, the blood had gone into the gloves then, after the man had been killed.
Unfortunately, that statement of the driver's is only the beginning.
What? That's not all of it?
There were multiple witnesses to the precise moment at which the brickmaker was fatally stabbed.
I wonder if maybe a more Golbez accent. We'll see.
Order! 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 When the killing took place, only the victim and the accused were inside the carriage. And there were witnesses to the crime.
This is not just a case of compelling evidence. No, you need something more flamboyant to it.
It's the small nail in the coffin for the accused. Thank you, Counsel. Thank you, Counsel. The circumstances of the crime have been made quite clear. I think we will hear testimony from the witnesses first of all. Your wish is my command. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in at once. At once.
No. I'm not gonna be able to do his voice justice. It's so hard.
Witnesses, your names and occupations.
My name is, well, everyone calls me Beppo. I drive an omnibus in the East End.
Bruce Flatplay. I'm a banker in the city.
My name's First. Lady First. I make ads for gents.
Let's begin by confirming the facts. 3 days ago, at a short time after 10 o'clock in the evening, all of you present in the stand were in an omnibus and witnessed the aforementioned incident. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Quite right.
Yes, sir. That's right, sir. That's right, sir.
Oh.
Very well, then. Let's proceed to your formal testimonies, please. Each of you will tell the court precisely what you saw.
Witness testimony.
It was the last bus in the evening, so I had a few customers. I remember it well. The victim and the man accused of killing him was sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife right into his guts.
That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it. As soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus, and that's when I saw it too.
An unambiguous testimony, I must say.
Exactly, my lord. These men witnessed the incident on the omnibus with their own eyes. Their own eyes.
I'm going kind of old on him by accident a lot.
I'd like to ask a question, if I may.
Yes, counsel?
Well, this testimony makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever.
Why not?
Well, the incident took place inside a moving carriage, didn't it?
As has been clearly stated from the outset, yes.
Well, in that case, how could those two witnesses possibly have seen what had happened? There's no way they could have been seen the inside of the moving carriage.
How quaint. I'd read that civilization in the eastern island nations was a good century behind our own. But you're here in London yourself. Are you really so ignorant about our omnibuses?
Huh?
Tell me, my Nipponiese friend, have you even traveled in an omnibus?
Well, no. We, only arrived in London this morning.
No matter. I've arranged for us all to see for ourselves. The actual scene of the crime, that is.
What do you mean? The actual scene? How?
Yeah, how? Did he bring the carriage in?
A carriage is designed to be moved, after all. Presumably you understand that much.
Yes?
The omnibus in which this bloody crime took place in here today is in this very building.
Here? What? The entire carriage?
Bailiff, bring forth the stricken omnibus.
Baker Street, London, 5th Avenue, Jobmasters, London Hairless. So that's an omnibus. The omnibus. I can't believe they would bring something so enormous in here. Great Britain's courtrooms are amazing! Not the time.
As you can see, the omnibus is pulled by 2 horses. and carry up to 8 passengers. And carry up to 8 passengers.
Shit, I can't do his voice as much as I want.
4 passengers seeking inside this closed cabin, and another 4 on the rooftop deck above. Every Londoner knows that the best views from the city are in the city's architecture and sights are to be had from the top of an omnibus. And I should point out to our foreign guests that there is a skylight in the roof, allowing a view of the interior from the seats above.
Ah, a skylight. Oh!
The penny drops at last, I see. These 2 gentlemen were occupying the rooftop seats on this omnibus when the murder took place. That is how they came to witness the grim incident. Through the skylight.
Ugh, that makes perfect sense.
Well, Consul, this is a first. In all my years behind the bench, I never experienced the crime scene itself being brought into the courtroom. There are a number of important clues remaining inside the carriage, my lord. I would like to submit the omnibus itself as evidence. That is the prosecution's wish. Very well, I see no reason why not. This omnibus is hereby formally accepted as evidence.
Oh, I keep going young on his voice. Okay, so the omnibus is in the record now. I can't believe it! The entire crime scene entered as evidence? I mean, that sounds pretty normal.
Yes, Great Britain is simply extraordinary.
I could help myself a lot by giving that omnibus a thorough examination, seeing as it's here.
Let us continue with proceedings, then. Your cross-examination, Counsel. Pray don't expect this Nipponi stray to understand the intricacies of a British court's cross-examination rules.
Alright. My first cross-examination in a British court. Focus, Renosuke. Focus! Okay, so it's cross-examination. Okay, so it was the last bus in the evening, so he had a few customers and he remembers it really well. The victim and the man accused of killing him were sat next to each other inside the bus. Then out of the blue, the accused just reached over and plunged a knife into his guts. That's right, he stabbed him. I screamed, I did. I couldn't help it. Okay. And then he says, as soon as I heard the scream, I stopped my bus. And then I saw it and then he saw it. Okay, so what do we have in our evidence to look through? Let's see. Okay, so let's look at this autopsy report. So he was thrice fired Mason male. Stabbed once in the abdomen with a knife while journeying on the omnibus. Died due to internal hemorrhaging resulting from the trauma. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Yep, the knife is very much so plunged directly into him. Okay, so okay. So they could see from above. Well, I can examine the blood. Okay. This is definitely blood, isn't it? Not the most pleasant sight to be confronted with on our first day in London.
Well, nothing will come of grumbling now.
No. No. By the way, is Mr. McGilded right-handed?
Yes, I believe so. He was toying with a coin in his right hand a little earlier.
Ha. Pity. If only he had been left-handed.
I think blood on either glove would be fairly incriminating, really.
I'll keep note of that he's right-handed. Although I don't see anything else interesting about these gloves to really take note of at the moment. Just the blood. And then the carriage. Anything particular I can say about the carriage? Okay, so they can see in from above. Okay, so I see the Eiffel Tower portrait on this side. And then I see the rules on this side. Phoenix Wright Omnibus. Interesting. I don't know, that's an interesting thing that they have right there. Okay, but yeah, so I believe... Yep, the sign with the rules is on that side, so I'll keep note of that for now. So on this side, you can see the sign.
Well, let's open the door and go inside, shall we?
Ugh, the scene of a murder. It's horrible. Oh, we can go in. Okay. I wasn't expecting them to allow us to do that. Oh, okay, yes. It is indeed on this side where they were sitting. Well, maybe we'll just look at this poster for fun. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due to start 6 months from now. There's a lot of focus being drawn to the Crystal Tower, the centerpiece of the whole exposition.
Oh, the Crystal Tower. It's under construction already, I believe. People all over London must be fizzing with excitement at the prospect of such a grand event.
Oh, it's not the Eiffel Tower, but it's... Oh, okay. I see. Oh.
This seat looks reasonably soft, but it's actually rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really. Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It'd be quite impossible for her to climb up into the roof deck, so she would have to be seated here.
A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Interesting that they make note of that there. Oh, there's like a drawer on this side. I don't know if they'll point that out though, because I think that was for the seat, right? Like if I targeted specifically on this, I'm pretty sure they'll just talk about the seats again, right? Oh no, there we go. They're talking about the seat. Okay. This seat has a handle, it seems. Oh, okay. Anything in here? Luggage, I guess? This looks like all sorts of equipment that might be needed to help keep the omnibus running.
Feeding tubs, tools to repair wheels, blankets, horseshoeing tools. So it's a storage compartment for the coachman to keep his things, it seems.
There doesn't seem to be any space for passengers to stow their luggage, that's for sure.
Well, I don't imagine it would be very convenient for that purpose anyway.
Oh, little did they know. It will very much so be. Very much so be. They're gonna point out this empty spot? Nope. Not at all. Okay, I don't see anything in it yet. Although I do see a thing that looks like luggage. Alright, let's just examine this. That's blood that's soaked into the seat. The victim's, obviously.
Yes, and that seat would be clearly visible from the roof deck.
Would you really stab somebody in full view of the other passengers like that? I wonder.
Well, it was after dark, and there was a lamp in here, so perhaps the culprit couldn't see anything outside through the skylight.
Whichever way you look at it, it doesn't seem like it was a planned attack. Ah, that's a poster for the great exhibition that's due for 6 months from now. There's a great focus of the Crystal Tower.
Kiro, hi!
How am I liking case 3? I like how immediately they just go, hey, you're gonna solve a murder case, and then they're like, what? And then they're like, bye-bye! So,
I'm very into the fact that they just kind of throw you into it. So I'm just looking through and trying to figure out what's going on here. Okay, so they're talking about the Crystal Tower again, even though this is a different thing. Oh yeah, I guess both sides. It's just about the Crystal Tower. The culprit is obviously Grahatia! Well, I guess we better go wake him up. Alright, let's go step back outside. I probably should be pressing statements, but I'm more curious about this carriage. Gotta learn all about it. Let's see. Baker Street, Old Street, and all that stuff. So this is probably the... like the little header of what... This is what... Oh, never mind! You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Good morning, Grahatia. You're under arrest.
Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. So I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly.
That's not good for us. I think this is really cheeky that they put this little Phoenix Wright omnibus. But hey, I am not complaining. Okay, so this is just, I'm assuming just the mirror, the window, if I examine it. Yep, roof deck. Oh, so people sit all the way up here on bitter winter nights with the cold air rushing past them? And they have to pay money to do so? I can't imagine how cold it must feel. That just made me think of something horrible. Can you imagine being dragged around the city in the freezing cold as a punishment? Perhaps that is the real price you pay to stay out late. Rinosuke isn't Wright's ancestor. The omnibus driver is. You know what? I'd believe it. I definitely would. Well, this is the driver's seat. Are they gonna say anything about this? Nope. Just gonna repeat the same thing. Nothing about the driver's seat. Okay, well, I guess I'll go press statements now. I kind of want to see this statement.
Hold it!
You actually saw the exact moment it happened? Didn't I already testify to that? Go on. Or are fair dinkum, hard-working city bankers not considered trustworthy these days? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. This is no good. I really got his backup. Perhaps you could just tell us what you saw in a little more detail if that... My lord.
Juror number 3, what's the meaning of this?
My mind's made up, my lord. Completely and utterly made up.
Made up about what?
I don't like this stinking rich. Never have. They're always up to something or other they shouldn't be. Every one of them. And that little leprechaun of a man is no exception. Well, he can't fool me.
What? I pressed one statement. What's happening?
There's no point wasting time listening to any more of this. That's my opinion on the matter anyway.
This is precisely what I was about to say. As the foreman of the jury, it's my duty to set a good example to my fellow jurors.
What the? What is happening here? Let me see. Ah, yes. It seems that's how the members of the jury give their verdicts. With fire? What are they, Prometheus?
Apparently, yes. White for innocent and black for guilty. As the 6 members of the jury make up their minds about the case, one by one, they each cast a ball of fire into the great scales of justice as we saw a moment ago. So, if those enormous scales fall completely to the black side, what does that mean? Let's do our best, very best to make sure that doesn't happen. Now I'm even more worried than I was before.
Very well. The court acknowledges a change in the jury's stance. Counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
This is a nightmare. That's right. He stabbed him. I screamed, I did. Couldn't help it.
So you screamed. Okay. He stabbed him, you say? And you were sitting up on the roof deck, were you?
Yes, that's right, sir. I was up on the roof seats. I remember seeing the little gent sitting next to the fellow that was stabbed. I've been thinking about a new hat design, you see, so I was just gazing about absent-mindedly around.
My English accents are so good. Thank you. I have no idea if I really am doing it justice or not, so appreciate the feedback.
But then I happened to look down through the skylight, and it was sticking right out of his belly, that huge, great, giant knife.
A grim sight indeed.
Ah, that didn't help me at all. I'm not even seeing them react, unless I'm like... Whoa, look at her go. The jury look like they're even more convinced my client did than I ever was before.
That appears to have made everyone even more dubious that Mr. McGilded is telling the truth. If only we had some evidence to counter their suspicions.
Mr. First.
Oh, yes, sir.
Is this the knife you saw?
Oh, good grief! That's it. The very one, sir.
Yes. Is that?
Yes, counsel. This is the blade that was driven into the victim's belly like a stake through the heart. That is the blade of a considerable size, counsel. It is, and furthermore, this scabbard is emblazoned prominently with a certain initial. The letter M, which seems oddly familiar.
Please, no.
M for Magnus, perhaps, or McGilded, possibly. Take your pick. It seems this particular big name in London made a magnificent mistake.
But there are M's everywhere. Like, yes. Like in Mason.
Objection!
Oh wow, he's pissed.
This blade is far too extravagant for a poor brickmaker to have owned. No, this weapon of murder most certainly belongs to the accused.
Oh, he even does the same bench slam as Barnum almost. I slammed my desk and it made my Switch glitch out for a second. Oh no, desk couldn't, I'm sorry.
Not conclusive, but certainly compelling, counsel.
The murder weapon has been entered into the court record. A largest knife that has been found lodged in the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornamentation suggests it must be quite valuable.
My lord, if you'll forgive the interruption.
Juror number 2. Go on.
Mr. McGilded is a pillar of society and a gentleman's word should be sacrosanct. However, those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Wait, what are you about to do?
Dispose of the rubbish.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
I don't wish to cause offense, but I do like to eradicate all traces of filth and grime.
I don't think she's talked yet, so...
I have painstakingly typed every word out of here today and is cross-referenced out of facts. As such, I'm now in a position to draw the logical conclusion.
Well, I'm boned. Not again.
That's 4 out of 6 jury members who proposed a guilty verdict.
There are only 2 left. We've had it. Every time I press these witnesses for more information, I just make the situation worse.
Nevertheless, what we need more than anything at the moment is more information. We're still very much in the dark.
I suppose I'll just have to keep pressing the witnesses, and knowing that more sparks may well fly.
We mustn't give up hope that will uncover something that will give us a way to fight back.
But... alright, I'll keep trying. I can't give up. I just need to keep calm and listen to the witnesses' statements again. Okay, so we're gonna press him.
Hold it!
What exactly did you see?
Oh, well, sir, that would be the passenger, sir. Yes, he collapsed on the floor, he was.
And by the passenger, obviously you're referring to the victim, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
And, when the other passenger had the knife on his...
Motherfucker. No, no. No, you're always doing that. You're always doing that.
And then the passenger had the knife on his hand like this.
By the other passenger, obviously you're referring to the accused, Mr. Magnus McGilded.
And then he plunged it down like this, stabbing in the other passenger in the belly.
What? Is this hat falling down just part of his animation? I think I could have sworn it was when he was talking earlier, so...
Order! Order! It is hard to believe one of London's greatest philanthropists, but this is damning indeed.
The law knows no philanthropists, my lord. Only the innocent and the guilty. Good deeds mean nothing when overshadowed by evil. The truth is everything.
I couldn't agree more, sir. The truth.
Alright. So when it happened, the only 2 people in the enclosed cabin area were the victim and the defendant. And so help me, 3 whole people witnessed the man I'm trying to defend to do the deed. Oh boy.
I don't like to be pessimistic, but we seem to be in a rather difficult situation here.
Ugh. What am I supposed to think here? Is Mr. McGilded really innocent? Or could it be...
Before we jump to conclusions, our first task should be to gather information. We need to understand the case much better than we do at the moment.
Yes! You're absolutely right. Let's listen to those witness statements again. A little more carefully this time. Okay. Might as well press everything. Yes. I think it was sometime after 10, was it?
Oh yes, sir, that's right, sir. Yes, sir, ever so cold it was, sir. Freezing, in fact.
And you had 4 passengers on board at the same time. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes, that's right, sir. Not all traveling at the same parts of the bus, of course. There's no. And there were no other passengers within the incident took place? No other than alighted, for example? Yeah, quite right, sir. No other passengers like that one, no, sir, none.
So nobody fled the scene of the crime, then?
I have to say, the boss insists on it running, he does. Every evening, that last bus of the day. But I do wonder sometimes if it's altogether worthwhile. Yes, so you say.
What do you mean by that?
Well, with it being so cold and everything, and only making 20 pence on the run, you see. Yes, I spend that much at the pub on the way home, just trying to warm up again. I just can't believe it, sir. Can't believe it. I'm a murder on my own bus. It's too awful to think about. I haven't been able to shake this cold ever since it happened. My lord, I wish you spake. Yes, sir, number 5. Do I take it that you too? As your mercer, you London killed coachman. The idea of a murder being committed in one of the city's carriages is utterly abhorrent to me. It wouldn't be right to make a decision before hearing all the facts, though, I said to myself. But I've heard enough now. The horse is bolted, as they say.
No, please, just keep an open mind.
Gee up now, Silver Blaze, to finish this in sight.
Well, even the judge is like,
Holy fuck, man. That was quick. Pepper's a long-standing member of the guild, and I trust what the man says. Oh, thank you, sir. You're too kind, sir.
ugh, this is too unkind, sir. Which now means that 5 jurors agree to condemn this man. Madam Juror number 6.
Yes, dear. What can I do for you?
You have heard the testimonies of the witnesses on the stand.
Oh, yes, I certainly have. Still got my hearing, you know.
Then, pray tell, why are you yet to pronounce your leaning?
Well, dear, the thing is, I'm a creature of habit, me. I always go to the park around this time of day and sit on a nice bench and get on with my knitting. There's a lovely little park just near where I live. McGilden Park, it's called. A gentleman donated it to the city, you know, to put a smile on Londoners' faces, he said. I can't imagine such a fine young gentleman would have it in him to take another man's life.
He was always doing wonderful things for the city.
That's right. A man like that wouldn't stab another one, surely.
Mother, may we go to the McGilden Public Library after and borrow some more books?
How many Londoners live with their heads in the clouds? Do you people not know? What kind of man Magnus McGilded really is? What kind of man is he? The philanthropist Magnus McGilded has enough wealth to purchase the entire city he claims to value so highly. But where did all that wealth come from? Your client is a Shylock, sir, and one with the very darkest of souls.
What? Stone the crows?
McGilded lends money at extortionate rates of interest, so his victims have no hope of repaying them. When they default, he takes possession of everything they own. He is a vulture that preys on the weak.
I've never heard any mention of that before.
Your faculties haven't deserted you, I'm sure, madam. So has this thought not crossed your mind? Would a man wealthy enough to buy London in its entirety not have a carriage of his own?
What possible reason could this man have had to make use of a public omnibus service?
You're not saying that.
The victim, a poor brickmaker, had next to nothing to his name save considerable financial liability. It will come as to no surprise that this creditor was the accused Magnus McGilded. But let it also be known that the very day Mr. Mason was killed, his final repayment date for his debts. Good gracious. The brickmaker was destitute. He had his house, he had his not a shilling with which to repay his debts. And in the end this most pitiful soul had the very last thing he owned taken from him, his life. By the merciless philanthropist pretender, Magnus McGilded. I don't believe it.
If I might add something briefly.
Mrs. Sato?
You claim that the victim had been lent money by Mr. McGilded. But where's the evidence to support your claim?
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna get fucking drunk here. Yes, a nice fine wine. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollowed chalice in a court of law. Ah, there it is! Lord Van Ziek's hollowed chalice!
How can this be considered acceptable?
But I find myself in unexpectedly good humor. I had heard ladies from the Far East could show great courage, but I hadn't expected to experience it myself.
Ah, as judicial assistant to the defense, I am simply doing my job.
What a pity that your display of courage is in vain. This is the debt collector's the debtor's lodger, which details all monies loaned by the accused. You will find the victim's name clearly recorded inside.
Oh.
Allow me to present this ledger as evidence. And pray forgive the discourtesy of raising my chalice in a toast to the enigmatic East at the same time. A marvelous toast, Counsel. I will gladly accept this new evidence.
Okay, so we have his ledger. Ledger, I mean. Why do I keep saying ledger? Ledger. Ledger. Okay, so we have the ledger. Let's go look at that after.
Ah, yes. 20 guineas. The victim owed a considerable sum. And the accused made quite certain he had ample recompense.
Well, it would seem I've had the whirlpool over my eyes.
Regrettably, madam, that is the modus operandi of the accused.
And it's such a pretty little bark, too. What a scoundrel. Still, maybe it's all for the best. Ah, wait a minute. Let's think about this a little. I don't stand for nonsense.
Well, we're dead. Alright. Game was over, I guess. That was it. The last juror's decision.
Ah, according to this encyclopedia of British law, when all members of the jury have concluded that the defendant is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. That's what it says here.
The final verdict. It's over then.
Oh! There's a footnote, though.
A footnote?
However, the defense...
All 6 members of the jury are now in agreement in this case. Allow me to convey my respect for your swift and righteous decision. According to the laws of this country, I will now conclude the trial by delivering my final verdict. I trust there are no objections.
Miss Susato, just tell me one more thing.
Oh, yes?
You were in the middle of saying something before. The footnote in your encyclopedia of British law. However, the defense... What did it say next?
Oh, yes, of course. One moment. When all members of the jury have concluded that the defense is guilty, court proceedings are suspended and the presiding judge will deliver the final verdict and sentence. Then the footnote says, however, the defense has the right to demand a summation examination of the jurors at this point.
A summation examination?
Objection!
A summation examination. From which century has the tome you have been been resurrected?
Huh?
Judging from the binding, I would say that book is at least 50 years old. Any modern text on British law wouldn't even give such an antiquated procedure a mention. It's a relic, long forgotten and certainly no longer practiced. So you're out of luck.
Oh.
What even is it, Miss Susato? This so-called summation examination.
Oh, one moment and I'll read about it.
You would demand the right to a procedure before you even understand what it entails? Typical Nipponese.
Alright, Mr. Naruhodo. I think I understand.
Love how she just keeps putting the book away and then having the pull. Right? Such dedication to going, this is what I'm exactly looking for. Closing the Google window and having to reopen it.
It seems that under this procedure, we would be able to appeal to the members of the jury.
To do what exactly?
Appeal to them to change their leaning and reverse their decisions. And it says here that, if successful, the proceedings of the trial must be resumed.
Make them reverse their decisions.
Yes, in times gone by, barristers would use a summation examination to attempt to influence the jury's decision. But that procedure became something of a formality with no practical benefit, really. So it rather fell out of use.
I wonder why.
Because it was devoid of purpose. Changing one member of the jury's mind would be hard enough, let alone several. No self-respecting defense barrister will even assert his right to try at this day and age.
Still, I don't see any mention of the procedure actually being formally revoked.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that, although it may be antiquated and largely forgotten, it isn't yet extinct. What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
The summation examination, our last possible option. Do we assert our right to carry it out or admit defeat? We're gonna assert our right, Rinosuke. God damn it. Yeah! You tell him, Susato. The defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination, my lord.
Objection!
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? London is in the capital city of the most powerful nation capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. We have a duty to the world to exemplify the very high standards of judicial procedure. Summation examinations are an embarrassment that should remain buried.
Objection!
But if it's our right, it's our right. I believe it could prove vital in this trial.
The defense's petition is perfectly valid. The court will proceed with a summation examination. This is madness. Foreman, are you and the remainder of the jury ready? Eh? Well, I'm, not, there was no mention of this in the letter I received, you see, so... All members of the jury will be asked to explain on what grounds they have reached a decision. On what grounds? You must all justify your decisions and explain why you believe the defendant to be guilty. Well, my lord, you're rather putting us on the spot.
This is most irregular. No mention was made of this before. I don't really hold all this to my justifying law.
It seems to have thrown the jurors off. It seems none of them have experienced this before. Alright then. The summation examination. A defense procedure no practicing lawyer has attempted for years, is it? Well, just maybe. It might be the opportunity we've been looking for to turn this thing around.
So be it then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court hereby calls upon you to state the grounds on which you find the defendant Magnus McGilted guilty of this most serious crime. Judicial findings. There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so there's to have been him.
I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap right next to him just like this. Brazen, I say. Absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collated all those statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion.
Oh, you can't just trust. You can trust the guild. Fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices by 4 pence for years.
You scoundrel! Stabbing that poor man on the floor! It beggars belief!
I'm starting to wish I hadn't pushed for this now. Some of the jurors don't seem to have wonderfully formed arguments, though, do they? Well, let's see what we can do. We need to get these 6 people to change their minds. I'll have to throw everything I can at them and use some very persuasive language.
Just a moment, Mr. Naruhodo.
According to my book, that's not quite how it works. Oh? I thought it was going to have to thaw their icy minds with some heartwarming rhetoric about the defendant. Unfortunately, once the jurors have decided the defendant is guilty, they're unlikely to heed anything the defense says. But then, they've reached their conclusions by their own reasoning, you see. Your pleas will sound like excuses. In fact, it could recoil on you. The more you try to persuade them, the more entrenched they may become. Oh god, this mechanic's gonna fuck me over, isn't it? Then, what on earth am I supposed to do?
Oh dear. I'm just citing what I've read about British law, Mr. Naruhodo.
Right, I'm sorry. Do you have any idea how to make this work then?
Well, from what I can understand, the key to this procedure is using the jurors' own words to make your arguments.
What do you mean?
Well, the 6 members of the jury are randomly selected members of the public. And one of them is literally just carrying a knife, acting like Jack the Ripper. So I don't know. They may appear to be present at a united front, but the truth is, they're all complete strangers who just happen to find themselves here in the courtroom together. And that's the way to break them down, you mean? Yes, exactly. We must listen very carefully to what each member of the jury says, and see if we can identify any contradictory statements. If we can contrast the statements and pit the corresponding jurors against each other.
I see. So it's contradictions in what two or more jurors say what we're looking for. In a way, then, this is similar to a regular cross-examination.
Oh, yes, I suppose you're right.
Find contradictions in their statements and pit the jurors against one another to break them down. Alright. I might be able to pull this off. No, that's not right. I have to pull this off.
Way to get... You gotta get in that good old, like, confidence, you know? You know? Gotta smack the confidence right into your face.
Can we start proceedings, Counsel? I would ask you to take the stand for this. I am expecting a clear and concise rebuttal.
Yes, my lord.
Oh, we going to stand for this? Oh. Okay. Defendant's rebuttal. Okay. So there was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. I trust the driver. He has an excellent memory, it seems. 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I'd say absolutely brazen. I have simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. You can trust the guild. Yeah, she doesn't even react. She's so focused on her typing. Man, maybe one day there'll be a job in the court that does exactly that. Maybe they'll call it a stenographer. I don't know. Just spitballing about that, you know? So we can trust the guild. Fares our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence for years. 4 pence. If there's 4 passengers and it's 4 pence and they haven't gone over it, why is it totaling 20?
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
They do? Explain yourself, Counsel.
Me? Oh dear. What have I said?
I swear on Silver Blaze's maiden name I haven't the first idea what you're talking about.
According to the group's testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus in the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares.
Quite right. I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me.
And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence.
That it is a fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriages should be operated.
But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts.
Why, man, why?
4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication,
it would be 16 pence.
Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact. Or precisely 1 person's fare.
1 person's fare?
Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night. It's distinctly possible. There was another passenger we've heard nothing about.
Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, I want to know. Trustworthiness is our watchword.
Figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy.
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Guildmeister, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus.
Alright then, how do I make it so the miserable trial doesn't end then, huh?
Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side of the set of scales.
Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why you have to go in? Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Ag, this is all very irritating.
Begging your pardon, sir.
Oh gosh, no, that's not this.
Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same.
Actually, I really like how the banner is behind them changed. That's good.
For the love of Mike, not you as well. Not you as well.
A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters.
Oh, really?
I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. If we can manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we can force the trial to continue.
2 more. Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions.
Then that's where you must strike next.
So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertions.
Exactly. You can do it.
Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still lay heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination.
So he's like, he stuck the knife next to him like this. Brazen, I say, absolutely brazen. I simply typed and collated the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. Poor man on the floor. He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I say, absolutely brazen, and the scoundrel stabbing the poor man on the floor. Well, he says like this. I just want to press him in case, like, he changes the statement to something that makes more, you know, like he's doing the action, but I'm afraid of its turning logic where they, you know, they want you to change it to the point where they say the exact, like, they stabbed him on the side or some, I don't know. I just want to check.
Shish! You're a fine one to talk. What if there's shore hanging from your waist, Jim?
No, that's just my battered soul.
Well, anyways, I despise anyone with too much money. They're all the same. All stabbing some brickmaker some other behind the scenes. You mark my words.
Presents Nicolina on herself or her pet. Oh gosh. Let's see. Seems very unlikely, doesn't it?
Are you madman? We know that small shorty is a rotten Shylock.
Well, yes, that does seem to be the case, but... Mr. Naruhodo, please, be careful what you say.
If he's been trying to squeeze money out of us less fortunate, then as far as I'm concerned, he's as guilty as sin. The man can hang. Hang. Man, I should really work out. Why did I stab my knife into this table?
Come to think of it, didn't one of the other jurors have something to say about the defendant's underhanded activities?
If you've thought of something, Mr. Naruhodo, don't let it go. Test your theory.
Pit the two jurors whose statements seem to be contradictory against each other. No time like the present to use pit against each other. To use X. To pit them against each other. I'll never get them anyway. I really like reading UI as like extremely deadpan. It's just so funny to me.
Objection!
Those two statements are completely contradictory.
What? Explain, counsel, post haste.
Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for me other half. What is it, all this clip? What all is this clip clap trap? What does contradictory even mean, I ask you?
We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3.
What? Can't you see that I'm busy here? I really should work out more, man. Why did I stab my knife into this table? What is this, mahogany? It's beautiful. You know, people don't really appreciate fine craftsmanship like this nowadays. What is this Is this like a lacquer? Fine finish? You think they did it in within 20 days or something? Bloody hell, there's some fine work here. Wait, what were we talking about again?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it?
Ah, you want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. Just like the prim banker said.
Yes, that's what Mr. Fairplay's testimony, quite true.
Now then, juror number 6.
Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man?
How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam?
Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor.
Now don't move! Take a look at these two jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor.
Well, I'd never. They're stabbing in totally different directions.
What? Bless my stitches. What a muddle.
What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth.
Oh. But why? Why the dickens would they lie?
I don't know, to protect their skin? You know? I don't know that yet, but what do I know? Oh, what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience?
Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales.
I don't believe it. Wait! Now hear this, my villagers. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him. In his black suit, He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all.
Wow, the racism. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be pulling myself through this? All this?
Answer me this, Doc Jinx.
Huh? Me?
What exactly is the problem? What of it if two witnesses have slightly different recollections of events?
What of it?
Let's say the Shylock did stab the victim as he was sat next to him on the omnibus. Yeah, but let's just say this hypothetical real quick. And this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor, and then this Shylock stabbed him again. And this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, hmm? Are you calling a dandy, sir? Why, I should take this knife to you if I didn't stab it in the table again. Oh, man, why am I so weak, man? Oh, bloody hell.
Who are you calling? Oh, no, wait.
Who are you calling old? Why, I should take this needle to you.
Ugh. They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different motions of the same crime? It's definitely possible at this point, honestly. Like, maybe one of them saw it do it one way, and then the other person just saw something a little bit sus, you know? It's true. There's an outside chance of almost anything you care to there's an outside chance of almost anything you care to mention.
Exactly the point I've been trying to make.
Before you go any further, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, what is it, Mr. Sato?
I think you should have a look through the court record.
Huh!
You see, this evidence makes it quite clear. There isn't even an outside chance of what the juror is saying.
Checks my your redeems. Wait a sec, go to Zadnor? Yep! There is a go to Zadnor redeem. If someone actually manages to redeem that, I will go to Zadnor and do that for an entire stream. No questions asked. I will grind something. I don't fucking know.
How did I miss that?
I salute you. I thought it'd be funny because I always see like some people have redeems. Like one dude I watch has one that just says play league and it's like a 1 million redeem, but like it's justified being 1 million because he does do like in chat bets and stuff. So like his economy is like inflated. So like I don't know. It just seems funny if you just put something like that. It's like do this content. When I do 14, I try to turn on a couple of do this kind of requests because I think it would be funny. Actually, I forget if I turned those off. They might be on. Who knows?
Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it.
What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question.
What are you talking about, man? How could you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say that's out of the question, show me some proof.
It looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is to present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable, hard evidence. As you wish.
What?
I'll give you the proof. It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments at the same time. What? It's out of the question that the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime as proven by... Guru, hello, hello. Yeah, me voice actor. Step for another question that two witnesses saw two different motions of the same crime as proven by. I haven't examined this yet, actually.
That part is the sheath, isn't it? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, sorry, yes, I just don't really like blades.
Oh. Those don't seem like the words of a man with a large katana slung from his waist.
That's not a blade. That's Kazuma's soul. Anyway, there's no sense in delaying it. Let's see what this blade looks like. Wow, okay. Ugh. It looks like a lot of blood.
It surely is blood. The victim's.
Ugh. An Englishman's blood looks a lot like a Japanese man's blood. That's a really stupid statement, Renosuke.
Did you think it wouldn't?
Sorry, it's just that we've only just arrived here in Great Britain. I'm finding it a little hard to adjust.
Yes, I do understand. No, you're an idiot. What the fuck, dude?
There's the M. An ornate letter M. Undeniably Mr. Magus McGilded's initial.
And it's beautifully gilded, too. It must be very valuable, I should think. Huh. What is it?
Look at this M. If you turn it upside down, it becomes a W. This could change everything.
A W?
Yes. This is one of those, you know, turnabout cases. I'm sure of it.
I'm afraid I don't know it all, but what I am sure of is that this is an M.
Oh. Well, that idea was quickly dashed. Turnabout W. Yeah, there's no way that's a W. Well, we didn't see blood on the floor, so. Oh. There's the blood stain on kind of. Well, the texture makes it look like there's stains on the floor. Right here, actually. Yeah, like right here. A little bit faint, but it kind of looks like it almost. But I'm pretty sure that's just texturing, because it's mirrored over here. Interesting that they had to do that for the velvet.
Take that!
I did the wrong thing. Oh, whoop. Whoops. I love how you can just pull the entire crime scene out of your pocket and explore it. Yeah! Okay.
Take that!
Whoop. Well, I'm dumb. A single stab move. I'm so dumb. I'm so fucking dumb. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen. Only what? I'm fucking dumb. I thought they meant the blood stain. I'm so fucking stupid. Oh, there's an autopsy report and I fucking glanced over it. What? Oh my god, oh my god, alright.
Time to, let me, there we go.
It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen 2 different times. Alright, I concede defeat.
I'm honestly surprised we convinced him of all of them.
Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won.
That's cute. A little cheer.
What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares across the threshold of my shop, I take this razor sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head.
I'm really creeped out by this guy now. Please tell me he's a barber. Yeah, you know what? Same. Honestly, same. Please tell me that's his profession. Although he's using it with a switchblade pocket knife. Oh, God.
Well, in a quite remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there is no longer a large enough majority along the jury for me to adjudicate. And the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places, and I call upon all of you to continue the pursuit of truth.
To pursue the truth. Whoops.
You have to look for the truth while having only 3 chances now because you fucked up completely. So, Lord Van Zieks, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you please.
Man, he really banged through that wine while we were going through that. Oh, and he wasted it.
Having soured the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hollowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zieks.
Brr, is it cold in here, or is it just me?
As your antiquated tone no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as a self-evident truth, it would seem. No. And why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence, after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. Bring forth the witnesses once more. Witnesses, I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir. Of course I heard it.
Oh, yes, I heard it, sir. I heard it.
You, sir, on the end, the coachman. I believe it's Beppo. Yes, sir, my lord, sir. if it transpires that in your previous testimony you were attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You were advised to bear that in mind, sir.
Holy shit, perjury is actually being brought up for once.
Oh, mio Dio. Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination.
I look rather pish-shy, I do.
I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it, but I am,
Well, I for once was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
He fiddled us on the fare, he did. And then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. Saw too much.
I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so. Yes. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom 5th passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little cozenage.
Beppo, explain yourself!
Oh, I'm very sorry, master.
The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare?
It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always offending. You have been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry.
You're a disgrace, Beppo! A disgrace! And your selfish actions have brought dishonor on the entire guild.
If I may, sir, I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week.
What?
4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. No, that, figures. It's proper math. You're doing well, Susato. Don't worry about it.
Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the displeasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the pilot games.
Absolutely. Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus.
Hold it!
Okay. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4?
Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir.
And I just told you that I did.
A fare of 5 pence across the board.
That's not something to be proud of.
The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried.
I'd have been happy if it never existed in the first place. This blood-curdling sight. You mean the murder, I presume?
Yes, sir.
A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken.
Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed.
Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it.
But Mr. First didn't actually see the point in which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant.
I heard the baker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the grass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't hear screaming, even when I'm eating.
That sucks. I'll tell you, a show me should begin shouting a man everything I said before stands. Now it does it though. So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him?
That's what I said, isn't it?
It was bothering me before this. Oh, it was bothering me before. This was... For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question.
Anyway, there was only the two of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There hasn't been much talk of a fifth passenger, but as yet, zero evidence.
Oh wait, you're breathing out.
Then what are we all wasting this time for, eh? It's black and white, the man.
Sorry.
Excuse me.
Well, Mr. Beppo?
Oh, me, sir.
You have something to add in relation to that last statement?
Well, sir, there is just one thing, sir. I was wondering what's going to become of my omnibus, sir, after the trial.
What do you mean?
Oh, I can't help wondering. Well, no one want to ride in a cursed carriage someone was killed in. Or well, everyone wants to ride in it. Yes, the cursed carriage could be an attraction, maybe. It could be a sink or swim movement for me. Oh yes, I think it will be.
Well, if you could just focus on the testimony for the time being, please. Okay, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back, press him on this again, and see if the other guy does anything. Alright, does anything. You're reacting this time
Excuse
now.
me.
Mr. First!
Oh, hey, how can I help you, sir?
That last statement, did it trouble you in some way?
Oh, not particularly, sir, no.
If anything, he's troubling you with that hat of his. Has he greased his head?
Oh dear, sir. I hope my hat's not troubling you, sir. I'm still just an apprentice, you see.
Mr. Naruhodo, even the witnesses can see what's going through your mind. You really must be more careful. Ugh, I wish it were that simple. Oh yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so.
Hold it!
I mean, you think so? Earlier, you testified you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the Earlier, you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh, yes, yes, that's right. That's right. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip? I suppose. I might have, you know, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe.
What's this?
Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. What, roof deck? Oh, I'm changing his accent by accident. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then was when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. Yeah, the gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really, I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually. Oh, right, they make noises. I'm actually stupid for pressing them earlier. I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment of the stabbing, did I?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay?
Now listen you to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fella was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Hey?
Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that. No, let's say no chance. Well, it is a little hard to believe, certainly. Unless you spend your time peeping through a skylight on top of an omnibus, that is.
Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I have, you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it was as clear as a Ballarat day. It was a grim scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after the butcher stabbed the man?
Hands, huh?
Hold it!
But only one glove was bloody. Blood-soaked?
Well, perhaps soaked is, laying it a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Blood, both of them were covered in it.
Alright, there we go. That's the statement I wanted to hear. And you saw that from the roof? Through the skylight?
Well, the skylight's reasonably large, so I had a pretty good view. And then there was a lamp on inside the carriage as well, so I'm quite sure of what I saw.
This banker's latest statement. I feel there's something not quite right about it. When you feel something doesn't add up, Mr. Naruhodo, that's when you should have a good look through the court record. Okay, at least I know what I'm looking for. I can't waste this cross-examination. I have to use it to bring some new facts to light. We did. If you're not careful, the danger is that the jury would end up believing something unhelpful. Oh, is pressing actually a penalty now if you can get really bad statements to the jury? Okay, I need to pay careful attention here. Like, is that just a general mechanic? Because that would be kind of terrifying. Okay, they're just reminding me of the reaction command. Press triangle, the reaction command. So, hands, you say?
Objection!
But there's only one hand. There's no penalty for pressing the unless the judge says so. Oh, thank God, thank you. I was like, shit, are they gonna make pressing like actually limited in this game, like that against Mo, in the best worst case of Ace Attorney? Oh God, Big Top is so bad. Blood-soaked hands?
Well, I admit that soak might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it.
Could you imagine? It would be so fucking harder in this game. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar.
What? What do you mean by that, young man?
Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night of question.
Oh, yes. Right.
And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But, as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-hand glove.
Ugh.
In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent.
Gah. But no, that can't be right.
So you're a liar here then.
Gah.
That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, hey, he was in both hands.
Gah.
Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is it really the truth?
Ah, guy, well,
Objection.
It was a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it was in both hands. It was only one. But the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
No! Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands. Which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court.
Gah. Why? I'm a city banker, for pity's sake. My word should be gold standard. I'm a gentleman, not some gutter snipe. Upstanding members of society don't prevaricate.
He's claiming they have no reason to lie. But is that really the case? Mr. Naruhodo, if we had some evidence to explain why Mr. Fairplay might be lying, it could turn the tide in this trial completely. I should look at the ledger. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in this testimony. Let me check the court record real quick, Your Honor. Don't worry, I won't take 20 minutes of your time. This portfolio must contain all sorts of secrets of London's gentry. Oh dear, do you really think we ought to look inside? Well, it's not as though we'd know any of London's gentry personally, is it? Apart from our great detective friend, perhaps. Actually, I wonder. I assure you we will not find Mr. Sholmes' name inside. Well, let's see what we find. I'm glad it's all in cursive, so I can't actually read it.
Gosh, it's crammed full of gentlemen's names, isn't it? Well, I suppose they're probably not all gentlemen and all, are they? They're not all gentlemen at all, are they? After all, not everyone in this country is well off. Ah, goodness. What is it? Look at this. Do you see the name here? Bruce Fairplay? Should that mean something to me? It does sound strangely familiar, actually. In fact, I feel like I talked to him or something 2 seconds ago. Bruce Fairplay, the witness testifying at this very moment. Oh yes, of course! The banker! Why is his name in here? Oh, he borrowed 20 guineas, did he? And look, the repayment date is fast approaching. It's possible that this is just a coincidence, of course, but this could be very useful information. Nice. My lord!
Yes, counsel?
The defense is ready to present evidence.
By Jove, are you sure?
Yes, evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony.
Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. Evidence that demonstrates a motive from the witness' alleged deception at the court.
Take that!
This is a list of all the debtors who owe money from Mr. McGilded.
Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused's extortion.
The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay.
What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently in debt financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt.
According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, wouldn't you say?
Well, what of it?
Let's suppose Mr. McGilded were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case?
These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist.
Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claimed in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant.
Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay. Yes, my lord? Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have some most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time in which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim?
Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony.
All right. No, let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did. Overstate the truth a pinch.
A pinch?
But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilded's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained.
So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir.
Go Go ahead, Mr. First.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself as it happens. Seeing what? The blood, sir, on the assailant's hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure it was on both of his hands, not just one. What? What? Wait, what did you hit your back on, dude? You're very far away from the back.
It would appear that we are going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yeah.
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last. Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
I didn't actually see anything myself, no. Not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains. There can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, and we would all have seen.
But there's a lamp, right? How could you possibly know for sure in a darkness? You know? How? How could you be sure? That's my question. After all this is happening. Anyways.
Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was just no one else inside the carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood.
Oh wait, hold on. He's biting something. Let me do that too.
What's the cruelty in you really? It's just talking about the saying which all the men do it.
That's not really what testimony is about.
Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Yes, my lord. I miss voicing McGilden there. I want him to talk soon because it's been I really enjoy talking. Yeah, his accent.
There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that.
Oh wait, I don't have to read this like that anymore. Right, cross-examine. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpires. You remember seeing the knife, and then I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything, no, not until I heard the scream. Anyways, the fact remains that there couldn't have been anyone else inside the carriage. I really want to know more with this scream. Like, they haven't really been elaborating on the scream. You didn't see anything?
Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about that. I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories.
Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it?
No, sir, I saw nothing at all.
Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London's streets, no? Oh, please. You didn't even see that?
It was so cold that night, you see, it was all I could do to keep him from passing out, sir. Yes, my... it was fairly frozen solid, sorry to say this, sir.
It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus servant of London's cold winter nights.
Beppo! Hey! Anyway, the fact remains here. Couldn't have been anyone else inside that cabbage, or we all would have seen.
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus?
That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted open.
Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin.
Oh? Why not?
Oh, it was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door.
It was locked?
That's right, and it was public bus service for pity's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the jet inside just gestured at me to clear off. I had no choice but to climb up to the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I sure can assure you I wasn't just looking down, I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can't tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at all in the cabin, I would have noticed.
Unequivocal, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding the omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck, is that right?
That's right, yes.
In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight for you.
What?
My golly, really? Obviously at this stage we can't say for sure. But the possibility can't be denied. At the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection.
Enough hypothetical meandering. My Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh.
Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demand. You will identify the area of this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated?
What side was the box side on? I don't want to enter it because it involves dialogue. Okay, so yeah, it's on that side, so it could have technically been inside here.
Take that!
Both rows were seats on the floor facing the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means Oh. You know what? That also makes sense. The visible part of the cabin which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight is as I've drawn here.
Ah.
That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the one which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Gah! Okay, I go 3 steps ahead. It's quite possible that some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude. Can you, Mr. Naruhodo? I honestly don't know. Who could have it been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I mean, we don't really know anybody else. Ugh, I have no idea. I have literally no idea. But as a proud citizen of the Japanese Empire, you will look to the sky and walk on, making sure all signs of tears are gone. Go on. This isn't just a case of going on, Miss Susato. Alright then, I'll go on. Drag home and double, I need a lawyer of your caliber. I'm on the case, Forte. Objection! The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. But that response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat. This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, it was Grahatia! The person occupying the seat in the omnibus canton was obscured view was... I mean, they were on the roof, so... I mean...
Take that!
Yes! Concealed in the blind spot of the cabin that night was none other than this unexpected passenger. Oh, God damn it. Whatever the so-called logic you used to arrive at that conclusion, it matters. I'm fucking stupid. I don't know why I did that. The real blind spot is inside your head, and it would appear that it is be unusually large. Our task here is to defend Mr. McGilded, and... Oh, okay, wait, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. You know what, fuck it, I'll take the penalty, whatever, it's fine. Oh, well, that's right, exactly what I've been... Oh, of course, so the two people sitting inside the cabin, that was, Yeah, okay, yeah, it was... We're talking about McGolden was on the other side. Okay, that was my other guess, but I'm stupid. So I thought it was like, oh, the victim was on the other side. But if they're stabbing the victim, why would I be on the other? I'm dumb. The The person occupying the seat on the other side was...
Take that!
It was Mr. McGilded, of course. I'm dumb. The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. McGilded?
What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Jesus! You fucking... Alright.
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks! People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see that they use the terms ill-advisedly.
What are you trying to say?
Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to that fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
But that premise may be wrong.
What?
If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, Counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, the testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. So in short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on the passenger's hands, both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party?
Obviously, the true culprit.
Extraordinary! Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do intend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First?
I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter?
The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin.
How can you be so sure?
Because if there had been, the accused Mr. McGilded would undoubtedly have offered to expose the fact. Unless, that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even to notice the presence of the true culprit in every very cabin in which he traveled.
Ah! I love the Brooklyn accent on first. Thank you. And
trying to go for like a Cockney kind of accent, you know? It's inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it. But I think Cockney and Brooklyn are pretty close.
Order! There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As I suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police.
But if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely.
Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it has been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? I think he should talk. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. Can I go to the bathroom, sir? I mean, the defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out of here, I say. It would be rudely illogical not to hear his testimony.
When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favourite little pork has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well. The court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Ooh gosh, that was a lot of voices back to back. Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
Oh good, I get to speak him again. To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police?
Begad, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all.
Just answer the questions, please.
The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Yeah, I tell you, I do keep my mouth shut. Keep my mouth shut. Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow who represented me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the right next to myself and the other man, there was another passenger. No, wait, I'm talking with a different accent now. I was trying to do a more Irish kind of. Oh, think top of them. Yeah, do you any favors? Oh, wait, yeah, I think it was like around there. Aye, 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You. What?
No, Magnus McGilded, that convenient excuse can't save you now.
I'm truly sorry, I say. So I am, Lord Van Jakes. No, wait, that's. Oh god, I'm going the other guy's way. Think of Dan. I'm sure you'd be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good question, I assure you.
Which what? Which was?
God, I don't know how I did the accent earlier. It was like, top of the morning to you, laddie. Where the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not anyway involved, you see.
What?
If the police had known the wee one was there, then they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself.
Okay, I think that was what I was going with.
I was only trying to spare that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who is this young child of whom you speak?
That I don't know.
You don't know?
Hi, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage at night. I never saw her before or since. Saw her since.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the court.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in the courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings.
What?
Bang!
What? Smoke?
Fire? What the fuck? There's no use, we can see it. What's going on? Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Oh. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody. And clear the courtroom.
We were hurriedly removed to the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff.
Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber.
We have no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Alright, this is a good break point. I am tired and I am hungry. So far, this has been pretty good. I'm very, very happy that they just throw you right into the case, like right away. Like very, very cool. Like I thought that we were just gonna wander around London for like, I don't know, fucking half an hour before we go into it, like an actual like case thing, but no, it was super cool. It was good. It was great because we met the guy and he was like,
and he was just like, you guys should probably, defend somebody.
And we're like, nah, we're not too sure about that. And he was like, by the way, it's a murder. And the fact that, he doesn't have anybody to defend them with should probably help them, I don't know. Think of it as a test. And it's just like, the fuck? And then we went in the court case. So, very interesting indeed. Also, I really like McGilded. I've been watching a lot of RT Game lately, and he's Irish, so I keep trying to think of his Irish accent when he talks. Like it's not too heavy on the accent there, but he goes about it a little bit lighter. But I'm trying to do something more like this. But I keep mixing it up with the Brooklyn. Well, it's more like with the Cockney kind of accent. I keep mixing it up with the Irish or Scottish one. Right? Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard for me to keep these ones straight a little bit now, more or less. But I don't know. It's really fun doing the accents because now we're in London. Then you meet your client and he's yeah, he's very interesting when you meet him, especially when he just starts throwing money at you. And he was just like, well, I'm kind of sort of giving up on my life, I didn't think I had anyone. I was going to try to defend myself, but if people were going to defend me, I'm going to just pay some random guy to, you know, defend me. I mean, lucky on him that we're actually went there to defend him, so. But yeah. Got any predictions for the case? Gilded's gonna bring up how he probably nodded off. And then because he nodded off, probably somebody entered the cabin. Because if Gilded was on the side with the trunk, then, like, originally I was assuming they were hiding in it, but if he was sitting on it, then if the whole seat lifts up, then I'm not too sure if anyone would be in there. But, like, something could have been hidden in there during the course of the case, so I'm guessing something significant about that trap, that area where they keep the tools and stuff for the carriage. So I'm looking at that, and then yeah, the actual person being on the other side makes a lot of sense, and I'm thinking it's more a lot of setup kind of stuff. But he said he let them get away, so that's the part that also confuses me. But yeah, I don't know. Not too many. I'm not too sure on, like, where this case is gonna go, and that makes me really excited. The mystery thickens, exactly like the fog in the smoke that has happened. But yeah, the jury system is interesting that they have that implemented. Like, I'm both relieved that they're not making it so that pressing and stuff actually, like, accidentally convinces them to switch over the stuff. Like, I'm assuming it's more so that the story will dictate that you have to convince them at one point and then probably another point. But I mean, it would be really interesting if they managed to turn this jury mechanic into, like, something that full on goes all out with it. Like it's like, hey, if you press too much, you're gonna fuck up something, you know? Like, yeah, you definitely need more information for pressing. So, like, it's really punishing if they do make it so that pressing is more punishable by that. But, like, I don't know, that just makes it more playthroughs more interesting, where, like, people actually guess and go about it. But, like, you know, I mean, I guess it encourages more of the guesswork kind of playstyle. But I don't know, it could be really cool if they go more further on that concept, and I'm very curious if they'll ever do that on the next Ace Attorney game. The jury system Paul fought for. Yeah, he really did, and then it never happened ever again. Well, yeah, thanks for coming by, guys. I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I mean, I'm enjoying it. And then I really like getting some voice acting practice. I only get to do, like, certain voices from my normal playthroughs. I mean, well, not even playthroughs. For the work I've done for, like, Zelda Universe and stuff, for the voices I've done, I've never really gotten to do anything, like, with a heavy accent. So, like, getting some practice on these is pretty fun. Also, it's good for redeems if I ever decide to make, like, another accent redeem, or if I'm on Cassie's stream and a British one happens. Luckily, that has not happened yet, especially not British uwu. I'm glad I've never had to deal with that going on a Cassie's stream. McGilded redeem. Hi, you're looking for a good redeem, my laddie. Hey, you lost doing it. Yeah, let me see who is online to raid. To raid Shadow Legends, you know, that multiplayer online game that's a phone game, but also not a phone game, but it's a PC game, you know, like Bench and Binpat and all that stuff. And Bower of Fantasy. Oh, Coco's online. Oh, is Coco doing Savage or normal? It's okay. We'll invade Coco. Coco's playing Final Fantasy right now. Final Fantasy 14 right now. It looks like from the screen cap they're doing Panda. So if you don't want spoilers for that, probably to click away from that. But yeah, thanks for coming by tonight, and I'll see you guys probably next week. I'm gonna hopefully try for next week to continue the game, and then yeah, tomorrow. Oh yeah, tomorrow continuing Soul Link with Beb. We are on the Elite Four. So yeah, we finished the part of Sword and Shield where yeah, so we beat Hop in the tournament. So now we're gonna be doing the Elite Four, and then after Elite Four, it's the Rose Tower thing. Or is that the Rose Tower before, then it's Elite Four, and then it's Rose? No, yeah. It's. I think we're doing Rose Tower, and then we're doing Elite Four, and then we're doing Rose. And I mean, yeah, Eternatus, Rose, and then we'll probably get done with the champion fight tomorrow. So yeah, that'll be exciting. I don't know. Hopefully we're gonna try to finish off that Soul Link as fast as we can. But I think we can really do it by like tomorrow, like getting through the Leon fight and everything. Like we've run out of our encounters, so it's just all up to if we can clear at this point. So yeah, I mean be there on I'll be on Beb's channel. Oh wait, hold on. Before I raid, let me go put out Beb's channel so that I don't okay. Let me put up Beb's channel so that you can get an idea of where I'll be tomorrow. Hold on as I keep fucking up typing her name. Sorry. I'm having a hard time. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, tomorrow, around, like, usually we start around 7:30? No, 8. Like, around 7:30, 8 p.m. PDT at Beb's channel. That's where I do my Soul Link for Sword and Shield. I'm playing Shield, and Beb is playing Sword. Yeah, we're almost done with the game, so like pretty close to the finale if you want to watch. But yeah, after besides plugging that, I'm gonna go raid Coco again. But yeah, I'll see you guys over there. Maybe tomorrow at Beb stream. And then probably sometime later. But yeah. Good night, guys. Have fun with Coco. Bye.